Hey everybody, welcome back to the Comic Wall. It's your girl, the Outcast Angel, and today let's talk about issue 4 of Rob Guillory's Farmhand. And we get more a story on Andy. Hey. Anyway, this cover was pretty intense for one thing, but seeing Andy's backstory was pretty brutal. Like, starting off, we see Andy laying in a hospital bed, pretty bruised and bandaged up. I don't know what my dog's doing. And then we see this general standing over her, but not just that. We also see that her leg's been amputated, and just jeez. So the title for this one is Between Worlds, and we see Andy and this general getting, you know, talking with each other, kind of chewing the fat. But then we see just how Andy lost her leg. It was I think it was an IED, or I might be wrong. But her caravan had been hit. It looks like she lost most of her men and her leg as well. And so, she's kind of lucky to be alive. Anyway, turns out the general's actually here to brief her on another mission. What? She's still laying in the hospital bed, still recovering, and she's already going on another mission. And so she's even surprised by that. But then, the general goes into it saying, "You had a job and you did it. Your country thanks you. Now your country still needs you." And turns out, her job is to go home. She and now we see her. It's titled Election Day, standing at one of the plots at her old family farm, and she has a flashback going to when she was a little girl with her mom and her dad when her mom was still alive. And then, so obviously, her mission must have been to go and spy on her father, because why else would they want to send her home other than to see about her father's miracle seed, like it's kind of obvious, I guess. Anyway, we see her meeting up with her brother, Jed, no, Ezekiel. I keep forgetting his name. And turns out Ezekiel's fixing up the fence of the chicken coop because coyotes keep getting in. And while they're talking, it's obvious that Zeke is still pretty sour about the little incident that went on last issue, where his kids were attacked by this giant green chihuahua. um, and it's he's still pretty salty about it, obviously. And he's like, "Zeke, I said I was sorry. It really was just a freak accident. It really was a case of wrong place, wrong time when you think about it." And Zeke ends up saying something interesting, saying that a lot of freak accidents in town since the farm been running into the locals, and you know what they say? And so we see some of the locals here saying, "You're Jed's boy. You're Jed's boy, Jed Jenkins. Keep from around here. You folk are cursed. Anytime one of you Jenkins come around here, somebody gets hurt, or gets bit by some devil creature, or shot by commie spies. Yes, excuse me. Get to steppin', son." Anyway, he also mentioned something about what Roscoe said, the guy with the dreads and the bandana on his head, saying, "Working on the farm, you never know who might be trying to get to Jed through us. Crazy shit could kick off at any moment." And so, obviously, Ezekiel's pretty suspicious about something for good reason. And so, Andy can kind of just brushes it off as, "You're just being paranoid, bro. Everything's okay. This is bad luck." Anyway, Zeke kind of just lets it go and says, "Just be careful out there. Anyway, now we see what looks like a political campaign or political commercial featuring Monica Thorne, which is actually the gardening lady we met in issue. This is for maybe 2, I think, and um, I'm honestly curious to see what her intentions are, because she's obviously Zeke seems to have some kind of you know suspicion about her, but not just that. Um, she's working toward what she says a greener way of taking care of the environment, saying how our current mayor Randall Lafayette is in the midst of a massive infrastructure campaign that will turn several landmark areas of Freetown into strip malls. I have a better plan. As mayor, I plan to convert my predecessor's plan into a beautification program that would transform our city into a vast network of gardens and green spaces that would celebrate Freetown's history instead of destroying it. Which sounds like a pretty good plan, except, it can't all be green and gardens. Anyway, it turns out Andy and this other Jenkins farm employee are watching this when Jed walks in and turns it off, saying, I got a busy day ahead of us, don't we? Anyway, now we see Jed, Andy, Roscoe, and the security guard that we saw asleep last issue in a room with that giant mutated dog on a table in what looks like an autopsy room. Anyway, Jed's like, explain this to me, please. And the security guard says, that's the second ugliest goddamn chihuahua I've ever seen. And Andy goes into it saying, actually, it was a King Charles Spaniel, and his name was Mr. Fuzznuts. I know. I can't get over how people can name their dogs so badly, Anyway, she starts getting into it, saying that this guy, Tiberius, or T-Boy as he wants to be called, has obviously had a history of lacking on the job. The arm tree pruning incident where he cut off another employee's arm. The pharmaceutical limb bender where he's sucking on mushrooms on a hand for some reason. And he just has an excuse for everything. And so it turns out Roscoe has been promoted to interim head of security, whereas Andy gets ready to fire Tiberius when Jed steps in and says, waste removal. That's punishment enough. You can go now. And that's when Andy goes off on Jed, saying, what if Abby and Riley have been killed? You're going to keep him? And that's when she goes into saying, Dad, I know Randall told you to look after Tiberius. And then that's when Jed cuts her off, saying, my relationship with Tiberius's family is not your business. Mind your place, princess. Jeez. And now we see another campaign ad for Randall Lafayette. And turns out he's running for mayor again to be reelected. And so turns out under his watch is how Jed was able to open up this pharmaceutical business in the first place. And he throws some pretty dirty campaign leverage into Thorne's campaign ad. And so he goes into it saying, y'all know me, I'm a common sense mayor for common sense people, so vote for common sense. My name is Randall Lafayette. What a dick, dude. Anyway, now we see Andy in a bar looking over her notes, trying to figure out how Thorne is connected in all of this, which I'm still trying to figure out too. Anyway, turns out this other guy walks in, and turns out it's another agent that Andy is associated with, Agent Lightfoot. And so they sit down, and Andy passes her report to him, whereas he comments saying, it's a little light, don't you think? And so, Andy's doing her best to to get all the information she can. But this Agent Lightfoot is a little suspicious, thinking, I know he's your dad, but we need my superiors are curious what else Jed will come up with, but not so curious that they'd let him operate unsupervised, which is basically one of the things that they're wanting to do is, supervision, which is what Andy is working on. Anyway, um, he kind of leaves off on a bad note, and Andy's pretty pissed by this. And so, as she's ordering another drink, we see her run into these redneck drunks, and excuse me, that's when he goes into saying, "You heard of Cyrus Comia, I guess. He's my daddy. Used to farm with Jed long time ago," and turns out he's pretty sour. Turning out that saying this was before old Jed's devil seed leaked onto my daddy's farm, ruined it, then made my daddy sell it to him. That was supposed to be my land one day. Not no more though. And so obviously Andy's not gonna hear it. She's not gonna hear him trash talk her family, and so she walks out. Then we jump over to Ezekiel picking up a rifle and having a flashback to when his dad was teaching him how to shoot it in the first place. And one of the funniest things here is where Jed tells him, "Now listen, I'll tell you what my daddy told me when he gave me my first gun. It may save your life one day. This is crucial, so pay attention. Whatever you do, don't shoot your dick off, boy." And he laughs his ass off, and I just couldn't help but laughing at that as well. And then we kind of go into a back and forth between Ezekiel and Andy, leaving both the farmhouse and the bar, and they both run into trouble at the same time. Ezekiel running into these coyotes that have come back to his property, and Andy with these drunk rednecks coming back to settle the business. And so the one drunk that had at first initiated the shit talk between Andy and himself, he goes into it saying that it's because of your daddy that my family lost out on a lot. And he continued. Andy stops him right there, saying, "You're talking out your ass, redneck. Walk away, and I'll blame it on the liquor. Open your mouth one more time to shit talk my family." And that's when he goes into it, saying, "Yo daddy is a lying, no good, cheating son of a bitch who stole my daddy's land right from under him. He comes from trash, and he'll always be trash." Hell, what I hear, that old shit even tapped crazy old lady Thorne. How's that for trash? And that's when Andy punches him in the nose, possibly breaking it, and that's when they get into this fight. Ezekiel, on the other hand, is hunkering down and taking aim and taking out these coyotes in the process. Andy, of course, knows how to handle herself and takes down these rednecks like nothing. When the first redneck who started all this stabs her in the leg and is surprised when his knife breaks off, and saying, why don't you have a leg? And turns out Andy says, "Carbon fiber, asshole," and uses that leg to kick this guy in the face and take him out. Turns out Andy didn't get a replacement leg from her dad. She got just a regular prosthetic, probably a robotic prosthetic. And geez, dude, like, wow. So obviously she doesn't trust her dad's miracle seed all that well, enough to, use it on herself, And as Ezekiel's cleaning up the mess, he notices these coyotes have green veiny eyes, as well as this other redneck. And Ezekiel's like, what in the hell? The issue ends with Andy walking up to old lady Thorne's house, and they end up talking with each other, just chewing the fat and wanting to, I guess, catch up. And that's when Miss I don't know, or Lady Thorne, I'll call her, welcomes her in and says, old times with old friends, you and I have so much to talk about. And that's where the issue ends. And holy crap, like, where are we going from here? I need to know now, you know? I can't wait another month. And yeah, that's the end of this issue and this video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys liked it. And if you did, drop a like, show the love, hit that subscribe button to get more of my videos, ring the bell to get notifications on when I post new videos, so that way you guys stay updated and don't miss out. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.